what you're in is Ivor Bloomer's chain shop from Craigley, dates back to 1910. This is making chain by hand, which by 1910 we were producing 90% of the chain in the UK. Fair amount for export as well. These little shops were your cottage industries. You take them on as a family. Obviously you didn't own it, you worked for the chainmaster. He would also own the house you're living in as well, so you're fairly much tied into him. So this is making chain by hand before we had any machinery. And chain was tremendously important for the Industrial Revolution. It was behind all movement. Anything that was lifted, pulled, you would find a chain somewhere in the mechanism. Obviously, 1910, this is making chain by hand. We had no real successful machinery till the late 1920s. What I'm doing now is looking for a forging temperature, so I can do that by the colours. I'm looking for a nice, bright straw colour. I know that we're up to a good forging temperature then. See it glowing? So we can put the first bend in now. Bend's nice and easy. Bring it round into a little horseshoe shape. So we've got the horseshoe. Connect it to that one there and close it. So back in the furnace, maintain the temperature. We close it with what's called a scarf joint. Really just wrapping the two ends over each other. The word forging just means heating up metal and hammering it into shape. But what it actually does is put strength into it. So anything that needed to be strong would be forged out of iron.
This one.
So a little flat on each end. Connect it up to the last one we did. Create our scarf. Now we're starting to get something that looks a bit more like a little chain. Getting closure. Put it together, closed it, still a weak point. We need to weld it together now. So nowadays we have all sorts of welders, electric, gas, but this is your old-fashioned way of welding called fire welding. So I'm going to bring it up to an higher temperature, metal gets softer, hit it with the hammer, it'll actually fuse it together. So for many years this was the only way a blacksmith could weld. Right, might get a few sparks jumping around now, so if you can move right back to the wall for me please. I'm now looking for a welding temperature. Okay, you can come forward again now. No more fireworks. Nicely welded together. Now we need to finish it off. Make it a little neater. We use a foot operated hammer known as a Tommy hammer. That just smooths out the hammer off. Tommy chain was the most popular chain ever used. There was more Tommy chain needed than any other chain. That's why Thomas Oliver invented this system of work. This really was about as quick as chain making got before we had machinery coming through, which is in your late 1920s. Chain became more popular to be made by machinery, obviously because so much was needed and machines were so much quicker than a man doing it or a lady doing it. So chain was the most important part really of the Industrial Revolution in this area. By the time 1910, the Black Country was producing 90% of the chain for this country and a fair amount for export as well. When you say the Black Country, you can bring it down to a smaller area than that. You was really looking at Cradley, Old Hill, Netherton. That's what we call Chain Town. And these shops would have been on every street corner, in every back garden down in Cradley at that time. Check your well, final shape. There we go, handmade Tommy chain.